Gracias, gracias a Rogelio y al Narciso Martinez Cultural Arts Center por invitarme aquí esta noche. Somos poquitos, pero yo creo que somos mejores. Laredo, te odio, te amo. Odio your blistering days of a never-ending summer. Amo tus fiery sunsets that tint el cielo with burnished copper, streaked with peach and purple. Odio the dry, parched tierra, open cracks waiting for rain, like baby birds waiting for worms. Amo the Depot District, con sus stately mansions, decaying dowagers, remnants of a bygone era. Odio la cloaca that Rio Grande has become, thick, fetid, murky, like the slop pails of long ago. Amo the nearness of Mexico, divided by a border, united by our raíces. Odio las traffic lights, always out of sync. Amo las purple bougainvilleas, whose vivid color brightens patios all year round. Odio los cadillos that stick painfully to my bare feet, and the weeds that never die. Amo your Tex-Mex culture, where hablar español is an asset, not a liability. Odio the spray-painted fences, zombied messages of decadent youth. Pero more than anything, Laredo, amo your people, mi gente, que te ama y te odia como yo. Growing up in Laredo. Esta cosa está bambaleándose. Bueno, a ver si no me caigo aquí. Chicana, Pocha, Tex-Mex, Mexican-American, Hispanic. So many labels. Which one should I use? They're all the same to me. Yo nací en el border, en Laredo, as a matter of fact. Había pocos gringos. They were a minority. Hasta la fecha, they still are. Nadie tenía labels, or I was unaware of them. We were all Americans, unos güeros, otros morenos, y crecí talking like this. El get-together ya empezó. Los guys ya están llegando. Préstame tu lipstick. El fire nice que está bien rojo. Is my crinolina hanging out? Que va, you look bien padre. Me aprieta mucho el Merry Widow. I think I'll take it off. No, huerca, te hace ver muy sexy. On Sundays, íbamos a morning mass. No había en la tarde, mucho menos on Saturday, que te valiera for Sunday. A la 1, we'd go al centro a ver the latest movie. Al Tivoli o al Rialto, al Plaza o al Royal. Después al City Drug, a flirtear con los huercos, comer french fries con gravy, tomar un cherry coke, pasar ahí la tarde. El hangout de los gringos era el Central Drug. We never went there. Discrimination, I suppose, but of our own accord. The guys would go al otro lado, whisper de Conchita's place. We were dying to ask about it, but nadie se atrevía. Let's go and eat cabrito, with frijoles bien borrachos. There was no such thing as nachos, patos, o burritos. If you asked for a mariachi, you got a band cantando rancheras. En St. Angela's Hall, debajo del Eagle Eye de la Gerarda y la Gabriela, bailábamos cheek to cheek to the tunes of Johnny James and Nat King Cole. Echábamos estilo con el clásico danzón y el mambo número 5. Growing up en este tiempo fue una cosa bien bonita, without having all those labels para complicar más las cosas. Did gringos have piojos? The fact that we did is supposed to be very hush-hush. Casi un secreto militar. Want to see my mother all hot and bothered? I'd say, ¿cómo era el cuento de la niña de la manteca? Ese que me contabas cuando me expulgabas. From what I gather, tener piojos era algo muy vergonzoso. ¿De gringos have piojos? Me los pegaron en la escuela. Sister Mary Teresa saw one on my hair, told my mother, who got hysterica and went to City Drug to buy a bottle of shampoo, a BB brand, que tenía el picture de un perro en el label. Como era during World War II, no era fácil to get. When you poured it out, se hacían puras bolitas grises that stank. Mamá me lo untaba en el pelo como shampoo. I remember the hot, lazy afternoons, sus dedos going through my hair, searching for the nasty bichos. For a while, yo era el centro de su atención. She was all mine. Los cuentos eran the bribe, so I would sit still. They teemed with love and warmth like bedtime stories, but better, porque los inventaba para mí. Since there were no gringos in Holy Redeemer School, I thought piojos were parte de nuestra herencia. Did gringos have piojos? I later found out that they did and they do. First kiss. At 16, I strolled with him around Tampico's Plaza de Armas on a water-heavy night. Orlando, a walking cliché, tall, dark, and handsome in navy whites, spoke Portuguese. I didn't. Our eyes rolled, eyebrows rose, and hands flew like birds in the feathery night as we struggled to get acquainted. His perfect teeth shone like white mosaic tiles against skin weathered by the sun and sea. Flecks of gold shimmered in his brown eyes as they clung to mine. Fireflies tied to strings sparkled on the necks of the local señoritas. We sauntered to the shadowed embrace of the cathedral's arches. His lips, sweet as a ripe fig, pressed mine. From the plaza came the faint sound of the harp's hummingbird rhythms. It filtered through my pores like a movie soundtrack, and I, the heroine, waited for his arms to cradle my body. When they didn't, I asked why. Because I want to kiss you with my heart. Pueblerina, small town woman. What do I know of cities like San Francisco, where a breeze chills the July air as I brush past people walking the streets? Alcatraz, a malignant sore, looms across the moonlit bay while I eat clam chowder in a bread bowl at Fisherman's Wharf. What do I know of people I would like to know, will never know, with skin the color of eggplant, of burnt sugar, of té de manzanilla, of people with hooded eyes, hair straight as the road from Saltillo to Matehuala, and black and shiny as an obsidian arrowhead, of girls, blonde woolly hair in cornrow braids, stud zirconias in their noses, of guys in Crayola-colored mohawks. I grew up in a slumbering border town where girls in ponytails and poodle skirts and guys in cuffed jeans and ducktail haircuts danced on moonlit patios to romantic tunes from a record player, where downtown was alive with shoppers in and out of Richter's El Precio Fijo, with its smell of oiled wood floors and classy clothes on chrome racks, where Achar's El Nuevo Mundo had the only escalator in town, and black-haired beauty Mary Coleman modeled designer gowns and hats like my green-eyed Aunt Rebecca did in the roaring 20s, where rainbow-colored silhouettes beamed at us from the brightly lit displays of El Sol del Oriente shoe store, where the Southland Cafe catered to the locals and the Laredo Apaches during the baseball season, where you could safely window shop at night and only the county jail had bars on its windows, where nights, hushed and still as an empty church, bordered on boredom. Our town is now a city waking from its slumber, where drive-by shootings rock the night with AK-47s, where a love-struck boy kills his girl inside a school restroom, where tattoos, gangs, and Satanism flourish like weeds in our St. Augustine grass, where the spirits of murdered people cry out for justice, where the Rio Grande water reeks like an open drain when you open the faucet, where my world has gone the way of the dinosaurs. Tour into dark waters. Turquoise water laps against the boat as tourists board for a cruise of Acapulco Bay. 3 middle-aged men and a little girl join the crowd. She stands out from the other children, a seashell among clams, charcoal hair, high cheekbones, small nose, Her tan skin glows against the blue bikini. A family outing, I assume. The red-haired man with a walrus mustache picks her up and sets her on his lap. He hugs her, strokes her back, her slender thighs, and passes her to his friend with the pelican legs. As he dances with her to the tune of En el mar la vida es más sabrosa, the girl, fragile as an orchid, clings to his body, pale and spongy like a jellyfish. She slips from the circle of his arms. Her round, tawny eyes, too old for her face, meet mine. She shrugs and gazes out to sea. Stepping ashore, the skinny man in a blonde ponytail lifts the child over his shoulder and carries her like booty down the gangplank. Her face reflected in the shining darks and lights of the water, distorted like a Dalí painting. River of Lost Dreams. Mi Rio Grande, newborn river of my sunrises, who quenched the thirst of Lipanapaches and Kickapoo, who witnessed my birth, rushes from the bowels of the Ochre Mountain, bursts down its craggy face, mists the air with froth, lulls the night with mud-churned whispered chants. Ay, mi rio, tan grande y tan bravo, where empty bottles litter dusty trails, where a jabalí chews a sun-faded tennis shoe as a possum noses a Fritos bag, where hot, dry winds bend buffalo grass and tall cane, where cubrevientos cool their leaves in your leaden waters. Mi Rio Bravo, river of my sunsets, reeks, festers, and snakes silently across the sun-baked earth. Narcos clash with la migra among the cenizos, nopales, and mesquites, as mojados like frightened deer run into the bush. Screeching grackles tip their black heads skyward. Mi Rio Grande crawls towards the Gulf with dreams bound by nightmares for those bloated bodies shrouded in dark weeds like mummies. The one Santana sold. I don't know if you've ever heard that phrase, the one Santana sold. In Veracruz, and I imagine other places in Mexico, they called us that they told us that we were the ones living over here in Mexico, in United States, were in a derogatory form. They would tell us, you're the ones, ustedes son los que vendió Santana. And so from there is the title of this poem and the title of the book. We are those who fled the land of our birth, those who built the great pyramids, mute witnesses of Cortez's destruction, those who invented the Aztec calendar, those who leave our mothers, our wives, our children, because our country, rich in oil, can't feed us. We are the wetbacks that cross the Rio Bravo, the brave ones that cross the desert, that drown, that die of thirst, that are killed by vigilantes, border guards, or coyotes. Those who passively conquer the most powerful nation in the world, taking back what once belonged to Mexico. We are the traders, the starving Indians, the pochos, the Chicanos. We are the ones Santana sold. Xochitl, purple shades and lavender tints, an amethyst, a rainbow, a black leopard graceful as a flamenco dancer, amber eyes glowing in the dark, the scent of potpourri, a guacamaya feathered in green, red, and yellow, orange and hot pink hibiscus that swoon like drunken butterflies, sensuous as silk, carefree as cotton. That's what I would be. Lyrical as la Villa de Alcalá, if my name were Xochitl. Como una flor, for Selena. I heard you sing at the Jalapeño Festival in Laredo. Your hair, black and shiny as a gracle's feathers, fluttered in the dusty breeze. Your lips, red like a coyol flower, seemed a hymn to life. A patina of sweat, made your piel canela glow while you swayed to the Tejano music. Your voice surged higher and higher like a dove and became one with the universe. I felt the young lover's frustration when you sang Amor Prohibido and your heart went beady beady bom bom. Chicanos stomped their cowboy boots to the polka beat as they whirled their partners round the floor, skirts a blaze of color in the air. The music stopped, the lights dimmed, then died. People filed by your black coffin. You lay como una flor, cut before its time, surrounded by thousands of white roses. Fans gathered at the edge of the Rio Grande, set the night aglow with hundreds of candles. Flames danced in the Rio Bravo-filled breeze, and Ave Marias floated in the air like the scent of roses. Aztec princesses dancing in Tenochtitlan to the rhythm of the tambor, the caracol. Virgins sacrificed in the cenotes to appease the gods came to welcome you, Selena, when you crossed the bridge towards the light. The martyrs of Juarez fall in silence like the autumn leaves, stain the desert crimson with their blood. Scattered by the wind, their dusty remains whirl and swirl until they cover everything. It gets in our eyes, our hair, our pores. We drink it in the water. It mixes with our blood. They cover the tombs of hundreds of women. They cover the nopales who observe in silence. They cover those who cross themselves and light a candle. They cover the police who look the other way. They cover the rich untouched by the massacre. They cover the maquiladores, leeches who bleed their employees. They cover the vultures lying in wait. They cover Juarez, its lampposts, painted with black crosses. They cover Chihuahua, whose women are as disposable as used tampons. They cover Los Pinos behind its high walls. They cover a world that still spins on its axis. We bear them on our skin. We bear them in our blood, the martyrs of Juarez. Planta carnívora. The village women gather at the fountain to fill their cántaros with water and their ears with chisme. Comadre, did you hear Cipriano left Delfina and her children for that piruja la Magdalena? Pues sí, comadre. Another caught in her web. Ni que estuviera tan buena. What does she have that we don't? Sepa Dios. A lo mejor it's the way she sways her caderas like Tombolele when she danced at the Teatro Blanquita en el DF. Maybe she gives them toloache, made from that hierba that drives men locos for the women who gives it to them. They say that when a man looks into her eyes, they see la Virgen y el Diablo reflected there. With lips red as the cactus tuna, the come hombres are beautiful, intelligent, and dangerous como una planta carnívora. They swallow a man, and when they tire of him, they spit out his soul, shriveled as the butt of a smoked habanero. I wish I had been a come hombre. It would have saved me a lot of grief. Sifting through the ashes. Sometimes it seems like someone else's dream, blurry as an old black and white snapshot, taken in a rush to go on to more important things, like feeling your arms around me when they were the cord that bound the stars to my skin. When your lips tasted like plump, bittersweet grapes fermented by your passion. When in the dark recess of the Plaza Theater, your touch on my arm sent shockwaves through my body. When the anguish of your absence was sharper than the pain from the scorpion that stung me during my 16th summer. When the leaves turned to ochre and crimson, the romance didn't end. It was nourished by the waters of the Rio Grande, shaken by the tropical storms of Veracruz, set aflame by the evening sun, until consumed in a song of death, ashes scattered on the banks of the Papaloapan. El baúl de los recuerdos. Rechina el viejo baúl al alzar su tapa abombada, con un quejido lastimoso como si no quisiera revelar sus secretos tanto tiempo guardados. Me atrae su olor a viejo, a flores marchitas, al siglo pasado. Ojeo el diario de mis angustias adolescentes, el álbum de fotos de mi padre cuando de marinero recorrió los 7 mares en el USS Memphis. Acaricio la suave tela de terciopelo blanco del vestido de novia de mi madre, amarillento por los años. Lo pongo a un lado con ternura. De entre sus pliegues resbala algo. Con cuidado desato el listón de seda rosa que aprisiona 2 hojas de papel tan frágil que temo se deshaga al tocarlo, de un color cremoso como los jazmines de mi jardín cuando empiezan a secarse. En letras garigoleadas, entretejidas con dibujos de hojas en tinta color miel, para impresionar al corazón de su amada. Amable señorita, palabras respetuosas hablan de un amor apasionado, donde dices amarla hasta la tumba y aún más allá. Me emocionan sus palabras, como emocionaron a mi abuela. La segunda carta dice: amable Ramoncita, quiero saber si puedo platicar con usted en la Alameda. Ella aceptó la cita pretendida y con el tiempo unieron sus vidas, pasaron los años y murieron los enamorados. Y mis manos palpan el recuerdo de un gran amor. Te recuerdo alto y delgado, tu cabello teñido por las nieves del tiempo, tu tez como las hojas secas del otoño, el azul de tus ojos opacado por las nubes tras tus espejuelos. Estas cartas te reflejan en el espejo del tiempo, fuerte como el roble donde grabaste tus iniciales y las de ella dentro de un corazón. Tu cabello oscuro como la tierra mojada, tu semblante una hoja en blanco donde aún no se ha escrito. Tus ojos de poeta desafiantes como retando a la vida. Te veo sentado ante un viejo escritorio, una pluma en tu mano, volcando los sentimientos de tu apasionado corazón que le enviabas a tu amada Ramoncita en estas cartas que hoy he encontrado en este baúl que guarda tantos recuerdos. Genesis. Let there be light, and there was light. Las Vegas glitters in the sand as a piece of shattered crystal carved out of the desert like the ice sculptures on buffet tables at the Hotel Mirage. Sodom and Gomorrah rise again, where gamblers' eyes hang in their sockets, whites lined by shiny red veins, where day blends into night like makeup on a showgirl's skin, where Barbie-like girls in bustiers and fishnet hose teeter on 6-inch heels as they serve hurricanes and margaritas to white-haired ladies with hairdos stiff as the frosting on a dry old cake, who cackle when the one-armed bandit showers silver dollars in their lap, where glassy-eyed guys get more turned on by the roulette spin of the wheel than by the girls around them, where men sit around the blackjack table, veins on temples throbbing, sweat beating their wooden faces, each on his lonely quest, where nickels, dimes, quarters, silver dollars ping and clink in row upon row in block after block of slot machines, where long-legged showgirls high kick to loud music, glitter in gold, flutter in feathers, bare silicone breasts, their eyes dead as the dream that brought them to Vegas, where the Roman Empire rules again in Caesar's palace, where sepia-colored slaves and sexy centurions greet tourists at the entrance, where the goddess Isis, the Sphinx, the seduction of ancient Egypt, reign at the Luxor as Cleopatra, Tutankhamen, Nefertiti once reigned in Egypt, where at the Venetian you guide in a gondola under a false blue sky, on a canal lined with famous boutiques, where a well-dressed man or woman stands out like an orchid in the desert, where a replica of the Eiffel Tower dominates the strip at the Paris Las Vegas as you stroll by the Arch of Triumph, the Opera House, and the Louvre, where through the years thousands of electric bulbs on marquees have spelled Julio Iglesias, Vicky Carr, Tom Jones, Frank Sinatra, Elvis Presley, and Vicente Fernandez, where plastic is turned into dollars as easily as Lot's wife turned into salt. I can almost see Moses, white beard, dancing in the desert air, raging against these modern Philistines of Vegas, the whore of Babylon, created out of nothing, ephemeral as a mirage in the desert, for those who, like the wise men, follow a bright star that beckons, on a quest with no alpha and no omega. Grave revelation. Dwarfed by the black umbrella that shaded your skin, creamy as the candles on your altar to La Virgen Morena, you hurried down Salinas Avenue to our house, leaving a trace of taboo perfume behind you. Reminiscing over Thursday meriendas was a treat. Your eyes, blue like the Virgin Mary's mantle, glowed as you sipped coffee and savored sugar-coated conchas while you chatted with Mama. Tia Pepa, did you ever fall madly in love? I asked, my eyes round as your glasses, your face blanched. Your eyes glistened as you whispered, once. Then you brightened, talked about dances, tertulias, and Victorian dresses over crinolines that rustled as you waltzed over the waves. Now you lie a virgin in your coffin, skin as wrinkled as the satin wedding gown that shrouds your body. I'm reminded of the words, forgive me, in the yellowed letter between your cold hands, that the bell has not yet tolled for me. Egoísmo. Me deseabas sumisa para demostrar tu hombría. Me deseabas fiel y de la fidelidad te burlabas. Me deseabas casta cuando de los burdeles no salías. Me deseabas bella para que escondiera pero que escondiera mi belleza. Me deseabas inteligente, pero nunca más que tú. Me deseabas tonta para creer en ti. Me deseabas madre para tú ser libre. Me deseabas confiada y tú de celos morías. Me deseabas fría hasta que tú me encendieras. Me deseabas fuerte para no pedir ayuda. Me deseabas débil para aguantarlo todo. Y tú, que exigiste tanto, ¿qué me diste a cambio? Días de soledad, sin una persona adulta con quien hablar. Noches de soledad, hasta que al amanecer llegabas oliendo a aguardiente y a perfume barato. Semanas de soledad, mientras tú vivías la vida. Meses de soledad, en que mi juventud se apagaba. Años de soledad, en que deseé la muerte. And for my friend Rogelio, pregunta sin respuesta. Hombre, ¿por qué tú eres libre de escoger? Para ti, horizontes sin límites. Para ti no hay sueño imposible. Las montañas más altas puedes escalar. Hasta el fondo de los mares puedes descender. Te caes, te levantas, el mundo te alaba. ¿Por qué, si del mismo barro estamos hechos, si mi mente es tan ágil como la tuya, si sentimos lo mismo, por qué he de ser yo la que baje los ojos, la débil, la sumisa, la que todo lo acepta sin preguntar por qué? ¿Por qué me encasillas? ¿Por qué decides por mí? ¿Por qué ante mis ojos he de ver el mundo pasar? ¿Por qué cortas mis alas antes que aprenda a volar? Hombre, dime por qué. ¿Por qué no he de ser libre, tan libre como tú?
All right. Thank you.
Day of the Dead. I lie in bed 1,000 miles away in the village of Nopaltepec, my womb empty as a tecomate without water. My maid shrieks, "Patrona, patrona, dijeron en la tele que mataron a su presidente." Her words bounce off my mind like water drops off a hot comal. President Kennedy has been killed. The news fills my heart like piedras del río. Tears come again and mingle with those shed hours ago for my baby born before its time. You must not get up, señora, el doctorcito forbids it. I rise, gaze at black and white images far away. I mourn alone for my lost baby, with my nation, with the world, for the sky is falling and there is no place to hide. Y para terminar, soy como soy y qué. That's the title of my first book. Soy flor injertada que no pegó. Soy mexicana sin serlo. Soy americana sin sentirlo. La música de mi pueblo, la que me llena, los guapangos, las rancheras, el himno nacional mexicano, hacen que se me enchine el cuero, que se me haga un nudo en la garganta. Pero siento como quien se pone sombrero ajeno. Los mexicanos me miran como diciendo, tú no eres mexicana. El himno nacional de Estados Unidos también hace que se me enchine el cuero, que se me haga un nudo en la garganta. Los gringos me miran como diciendo, tú no eres americana. Se me arruga el alma. En mí no caben dos patrias, como no cabrían dos amores. Desgraciadamente, no me siento ni de aquí ni de allá. Ni suficientemente mexicana, ni suficientemente americana. Tendré que decir, soy de la frontera, de Laredo, de un mundo extraño, ni mexicano ni americano, donde al caer la tarde el olor a fajitas asada con mezquite hace que se le haga uno agua a la boca, donde en el cumpleaños lo mismo cantamos el Happy Birthday que las mañanitas, donde festejamos en grande el nacimiento de George Washington, quién sabe por qué, donde a los foráneos les entra culture shock cuando pisan Laredo, donde en muchos lugares la bandera verde, blanco y colorado vuela orgullosamente al lado de la red, white and blue. Soy como el Río Grande, una vez parte de México, desplazada. Soy como un títere, jalado por los hilos de dos culturas que chocan entre sí. Soy la mestiza, la pocha, la Tex-Mex, la Mexican American, la hyphenated, la que sufre por no tener identidad propia y lucha por encontrarla, la que ya no quiere cerrar los ojos a una realidad que golpea, que hiere, la que no quiere andarse con tiento, la que en Veracruz defendía a Estados Unidos con uñas y dientes, la que en Laredo defiende a México con uñas y dientes. Soy la contradicción andando. En fin, como Laredo, soy como soy, ¿y qué?